Good afternoon, everyone. I got a room full of people. Good afternoon, everyone. That's how it's done. Thank you so much. My name is Tokyo Derrickson. I'm the program director here at the Downtown Day Services Center, and I'd like to welcome you. It is my honor to be here. I am humbled to be here. And when I break down, and I assure you I will, it's because this is an emotional moment for me. I don't know how many of you believe in God, but I can tell you that the God of my understanding sent my crazy butt right back down here to this church. Because this is where it started for me. I used to come here for meetings. I used to come here for breakfast. I used to come here to pretend like I was socializing. When I'm part of the homeless community, I've never changed that part of me. I don't hide that. I prefer to share it. Because people need to know that everyone you see is not always okay. And because you see me standing here, doesn't mean that I was always able to stand here. It took a lot of work. I'm stubborn. My sponsor told me I was tenacious. That's right. I am. My partner says I'm like a dog with a bone. Once I get a hold of something, I won't let it go. That's how I feel about the homelessness community. And even though I'm no longer homeless, I still consider myself a large part of the community. And I always said that when I retired, that I was going to do what I wanted to do. And that was work with the homeless. I retired October 15th. I started with the bid October 15th. Short retirement. Very short retirement. So anyway, I want to tell you a little bit about the center. I don't know. I'm back there. So the whole premise about the center was to have everything in one place. Because when you're experiencing homelessness, it's hard to get things done. Okay? Because first, you don't even know where you're going to sleep. Okay? You don't even know if you're going to be able to eat. You don't know if you can take a shower today. I remember the times when I was standing in the line to take a shower. It's humiliating. I remember the times I had to stand in line to get a bowl of something to eat that I didn't even recognize. It's humiliating. I couldn't do my laundry. All I had was a little Murray's bag. I know what that is like. And to have this center, to have all of these things in one place, are you kidding me? And come down and socialize? And hang out with Miss Tokyo? What? Are you kidding me? That's what's up. Because I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be where you are. Come on over here with me. Come on over here with me. It's okay. We can do it. You can't do it by yourself. We're here to help you. You're going to make it right. You're going to help us make it right because you're going to want to do it. Right? Right. So, with that said, we have laundry facilities, shower facilities, lunch every day, snacks all day, coffee all day, water when you want it, and you get to hang out with Miss Tokyo. That's a pretty good day. I have no idea what I'm doing. But with that said, please allow me to introduce the Mayor of Washington, D.C., the Honorable Muriel Bowser.
I'm stubborn, I'm tenacious, I'm like a dog with a bone. Now that is a charge that we can all accept because that is what it takes to end chronic homelessness in Washington, D.C. So let us all be stubborn, tenacious, and like dogs with bones, because in a city as prosperous as ours, we can do better by our homeless neighbors. Are you with me? I want to thank all of the good people here at New York Presbyterian and the senior pastor, Roger Ginch. Let's give him a big round of applause. I hear you're retiring soon, and I hope you take Tokyo's advice and just start something else the next day. That's always a good idea. And I'm pleased also to be here with my friends from the Council of the District of Columbia, who have been our just extraordinary partners in this work. Councilmember Jack Evans from Ward 2. Thank you, Councilmember. And Councilmember Brianne Nadeau from Ward 1, who chairs the Council's Human Service Committee. And I want to quickly acknowledge my team in Christy Greenwald, who chairs who's the executive director of our Interagency Council on Homelessness, and Laura Zeiliger, who leads our Department of Human Services. Thank you very much. And I also want to thank the extraordinary people who work with them and for the people of the District of Columbia each and every day to make sure that we're taking on the really tough work of our neighbors who need more help. In our government, we mark our success by how we can help our most vulnerable residents on a pathway, and what we like to say, a pathway to the middle class. And we know that starts with housing first. You heard Tokyo say that you can get a whole array of things in order in your life if you know where you're going to sleep that night. And we have, with your help, a lot of people in this room been very focused on how we consistently invest in our Homeward DC program and work on programs that we know work. And we're very proud that in 4 years, we've been able to reduce family homelessness by 40% and overall homelessness by 17% because of those investments. We're also proud to say that we have, with last year's budget and a lot of very good planning, we're making a huge investment in ending housing among individuals in our city as well, with a $40 million Life Change Center at the St. Elizabeth's campus to shelter single men. And we're proud of that work, too. And I wish I could say that some of these things happen quickly, but we know they don't always happen quickly because we, with Neil Albert in the Downtown DC bid, and Neil, of course, has been a wonderful public servant to the District of Columbia and now has the opportunity to lead the Downtown DC bid, we've all been very focused on how we could have a center like this, close to transit, close to jobs, close to daytime activities, and not shut off in some corner of our city. And that is what this wonderful daytime service center represents. And it's no small thing for this church to step up and expand its ministry to any and everybody who needs it. So once again, give it up for the New York Avenue Presbyterian Church. And Tokyo has already said it better than I can say it. That the services that will be available here will allow people to take a breath, to take care of some basic needs, and then hear all of the wonderful options and services that we work every single day to have. We who go home to our own homes and beds and showers and coffee makers every single day can't fully appreciate what it's like not to have that sense of security for the basics in life. And this is a one-stop one stop to get people on a pathway to a permanent home. And I'm very, very proud to be here this day to celebrate it. I also am proud to introduce to you now, again, I talked about Brianne, and now you get to hear from her yourself. Councilmember Nadeau.
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations to everyone who was so essential in making this happen. You know, there was such a great deal of advocacy around having a downtown day center to serve our homeless residents. But it really took, along with that advocacy, a deep collaboration between our consumers of services, between our government, our mayor, between our business community. And I want to thank the Downtown Bid especially for their leadership in these issues. Yeah. And to our church and to Unity, and now I'm going to start listing and forget someone, but all of the partners that will be here on a daily basis helping our residents. This is incredibly special. We are a part of a very special moment. So everybody, let's give each other a round of applause because we all did this together. This is what it looks like when we all work together. So let's remember that because we have a lot more work to do. This is what it looks like to serve and empower our homeless constituents and to provide dignity as we do so. Thank you. So here we are giving people a safe space to come to, a warm space to come to downtown, which is an essential part of serving our homeless community. And while they're here, we're connecting them to services, which is critical to helping them stabilize and find housing. And we know that the way that we are going to end chronic homelessness is by investing in more housing, right? That's right. So we've made many, many investments in housing. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, colleagues on the council. We have continued to invest in housing for our homeless. But you know what? I want to be part of the government that ends chronic homelessness. Are you guys with me? Okay, so we can end chronic homelessness in FY 2020 for the 986 most critical chronically homeless with a $27 million investment. Who's in? All right. So it's budget season. All right, so remember that because we have more work to do. But that's what it takes. It takes those critical investments in the housing itself, in the services that need to go with it, and that means continuing to work together. So remember what it took to get us here today because we have to keep that up. I do want to also thank the Downtown Bid and so many people here who supported the public restrooms initiative, which has now become law. And pretty soon we're going to have, that's right, we're going to have standalone public restrooms. We're going to have incentives for small businesses to open their doors for those who need restrooms, which is going to help not only those who are experiencing homelessness, but really anybody who needs access to a restroom, which can be a senior, it can be a person with a health issue, it can be a young child, it can be a pregnant person. Pregnant woman usually. I'm really excited about that. So I didn't want to miss a moment to be able to say, we got this coming. So stay tuned. We have to make the final investments in that as well in the upcoming budget, but I think we can get it done by working together. So thank you. And mostly congratulations. Congratulations to everybody.
Let me also introduce Councilmember Jack Evans.
Thank you, Mayor. And good afternoon, everyone. Now, that was the worst I've ever heard. Good afternoon. This is a real celebration we're here for today. So I'm really, really pleased to be here with all of you and with our mayor. Let's start with our mayor. Mayor Bowser's just done a fabulous job, really has, in her 4 years in office and really focusing on housing and getting the least of us in the city taken care of, and now her renewed commitment in her second term is terrific. So, Mayor Bowser, thank you. Thank you for all you've done. And my colleague on the council, Brianne Nadeau, who has really, as head of the Housing Committee, has just, or the Health Committee, has really what are you, the Human Services Committee? I'll get it right here, yeah. The Human Services Committee has really, really dedicated her efforts to help people who are homeless in our city and people who are struggling in our city. So, Brianne, thank you for all of your hard work. And I want to recognize there's a couple other elected officials here. The ANC Commissioner Mike, I'm going to probably mispronounce your last name, Schenkel. Did I get it right, Mike? All right, give him a round of applause. The chairman of the ANC in Logan Circle, John Fanning, is here. John, give him a round of applause. And who else is here? You mentioned some other. Oh, yeah. Give her a round. Say your name real loud. 2FOH. Thank you. And I think that's everybody. Any other elected officials here? I think we. Oh, I can't even see that far. Okay. All right. The lights are in your eyes here. And so thank all of them because as a former ANC commissioner myself, I know that's a difficult job, but a very important and exciting one as well. And then my good friend Neil Albert has already been mentioned a couple of times, but thank you, Neil, for again for the downtown bid. So I'm tremendously excited about this. As many of you know, I've been on the council a while. It's been 28 years now, and representing this area, all of Ward 2. And over those years, we have had a constant struggle, really dealing with people who are in need in our city, people who are homeless, and how to address that. And many times we didn't have the resources, now we do. And with the opening of this center, it's not only for Ward 2 people, this is a center for the whole city. And I think that's something that's very important to remember. People will come here from shelters that are outside the ward into this facility, which is a tremendous facility, and then be able to get the services they need and the help they need to help them transition from where they are to permanent housing, to jobs, et cetera, et cetera. It reminds me a little bit of the N Street Village. Any of you are familiar with that, I'm sure, and what a tremendous facility that was. A difficult one when we first started, if you remember, John, the controversy around that, and yet it is for women, one of the best facilities in the country where people can come and get the services they need and then move on. And that's the goal we have for this facility, for helping people in need. I will just say this. There's absolutely no excuse that someone is living on the streets in the nation's capital. Absolutely no excuse. And when and that's it. And when I drive around the ward in particular, and in Foggy Bottom and places where we have people living under the freeways and on the sidewalks and in the parks, those individuals really need our help in many ways. And the challenge as we go forward, as my colleagues, as the mayor have said, is we need to solve this problem now. We have the resources. Again, I've been here when this city was flat broke on its back. But today, we are the most dynamic city in America. We are. And our finance report that just came out, our audit, is the best we've ever had. Best we've ever had. And not taking my word for it, we were awarded a AAA bond rating in June, one of 8 cities in America. So we have the resources, and now we have to take those resources. And this is the cautionary note I always say. We can spend the money, but it has to be done wisely. It's of no value just to spend the money if we don't accomplish the result we're trying to get to. And so that's where we have to hold people accountable. If I give you $1, I want $1 worth of work, $1 worth of service back for that. And we have to do the oversight. You have to do the oversight. We all have to hold everybody accountable for making this happen. If we do that, we will be successful. And we will, as Brianne said, eliminate chronic homelessness in the nation's capital. So thank you very much. And one last person. Where's Reverend? I want to recognize our Reverend here from the Presbyterian Church, Reverend Gensch. Reverend Gensch, thank you. We just had a spirited conversation about churches as we were waiting. I'm a Methodist. He's a Presbyterian. And as we said, we can't really tell the difference between Methodists and Presbyterians because we are all of the same belief in helping people. But Reverend, thank you, because you were instrumental in opening up your facility here, our facility, and making this work for everybody. So thank you very much for that. No question. All of your staff and everybody of that. So with that, thank you very much, and onward.
Thank you, Jack. So we're going to hear now from Laura Zeilinger, who I introduced earlier as the director of DHS, which has done some really phenomenal work over the last 4 years, from transforming our TANF program to investing in the transformation of our homeless services system. And we're just really, really delighted to support the work that Laura and her amazing team at DHS is doing. Then we'll hear from Neil Albert, who I think used to be Laura's boss when Neil was in the government, and Christy Restpress, who is going to be our partner in delivering services. Laura Zeilinger.
I want to thank our fantastic mayor for her leadership. Without that, we would not be standing here in this space today. And I want to also echo all of the words of thanks to all the individuals who have been a part. I'm going to echo but not repeat the thank you, so I have the opportunity to share a few other words, but I do want to acknowledge some folks on my team who really have been persistent and adamant in their day-to-day in making this happen, particularly Carter Hughley, who is a senior advisor in our Family Services Administration, William Cunin and his team, and Lisa Franklin Kelly, who's our facilities manager. There are many others who are part of the fantastic work in the DHS team, and you're seen and recognized, and I just want to take this opportunity to thank you. When I was standing with Carter before this, and we were talking about just how fantastic the space is, but also how much there is to now fulfill this opportunity of what this place in day-to-day operations is for people who come seeking services, and how Carter said, you know, the thing about us is we're never like really satisfied. We're always just, there's a little dissatisfaction that makes us who we are. And that's what I want to challenge all of us to embody, is that until we have fulfilled our purpose around ending homelessness, this mission that we are all a part of, we should not be satisfied. We need to celebrate the milestones like this one today, but also know that we all can agree with the sentiment that in a city as prosperous as ours, and a nation as prosperous as ours, people should not be having to sleep on our streets or in our shelters or in any kind of environment that does not feel dignified for them, that we can and will do better, and we can and are committing the resources to make that happen. And we know that even as we invest in more and more housing and services, that if we keep doing the same thing, things are not going to be different. We have to work differently, which is why we really needed this space. This is a space where government programs are not going to be delivered because where people have to travel to all different offices to get their needs met, but people can come here, and services that we need, supports that we need as humans, actually are not defined by fragmented programs. You know, and we need to offer services differently in a way that the people are at the forefront, and the programs are there to respond to the needs that people have. So this is a place where, together with our partners at the BID and Pathways to Housing, and we know with Tokyo here that we will have a place that has amazing customer service, that is dignified and welcoming, and where we will bring the supports that our customers here tell us that they want and need. And that is a way that they will be empowered to end their homelessness. And I'm just so honored to be a part of that with the great folks. This is, I say every time I speak in front of a group like this, and I will just reiterate, we know that in government we do nothing alone. We do it together with our business community, particularly with our customers, with the faith community, with the private sector, with the providers who are on the ground delivering services. And that is a way that we change things and do things even better all the time. So I want to thank all of you for your support in being here today. I want you to just remember that challenge, that it will continue to take all of us to achieve this amazing vision and mission that we are all a part of. And I look forward to working with you to get that done.
Good afternoon, everyone. So thanks to everyone for joining us here this afternoon for the ribbon cutting ceremony for this Downtown Services Center. As many of you know, this has been in the making for a very long time, and we're all excited that it's here, aren't we? Yeah. All right. So there are a number of people that are responsible for making this happen, and so I'm going to ask you to indulge me as I say thank you to a few people. First of all, to the just remarkable team at the Downtown DC BID. We have some of our members of our board of directors here and a number of our staff people. They've worked hard over the last 4 years with the DC government under the leadership of Mayor Bowser to make this happen. Let's give them a round of applause. And as you can tell from Tokyo, you guys heard her, this center is going to be run passionately and effectively. As was said earlier, this is a partnership. And really leading this partnership with us is Mayor Bowser. Mayor Bowser has focused most of her 4 years in focusing on the needs of people who are experiencing homelessness, not just in downtown DC, but across the city of Washington, DC. And Mayor, I want to just personally thank you for your commitment, for your dedication of funds to this effort. This could not have happened without you. So let's give our mayor a round of applause. And every good mayor assembles a great team to work on tough issues like this. And you heard from Laura Zeilinger. She was a great director when I was her boss. She's probably even greater director now. And so Laura and all the folks at Department of Human Services, Carter and others who really made this possible. Thanks for your partnership. We look forward to working with you to make this truly a success. A year or so ago, we were looking for a place we've been looking for 4 years for a place to locate a downtown services center. And New York Avenue Presbyterian Church stepped up to the plate in a big way. There's not enough that we can say about this partnership with the church. Want us to give them another round of applause? And Roger is retiring, but Roger, we do have a place at the bid for you.
Maybe we can switch jobs.
Roger said maybe we can switch jobs. Roger, there's a lot of praying and fasting I'd have to do first to accept that. Well, we are going to be working with a number of partners in this effort, and I want to take some time to list them. Pathways to Housing, you'll hear from Christy a little later. HIPS, Unity Health Clinic will be here a few days a week. The Department of Employment Services, DMV will be here, the Economic Security Administration, Washington Legal Clinic, and many, many others. And so we look forward to our partnership with all of these entities that we've named and some that I didn't name to make sure that we're providing holistic services for people who come here. We've worked with a really good team to design a really amazing space for people experiencing homelessness. So I want to say thank you to Moya Design Partners who designed a warm and inviting place. We had the opportunity to talk to some of our clients on Friday about this space, and they all said it was warm and inviting, and they particularly liked the plants. Our thanks also to Blue Sky Construction, who built out the space. And I also really want to say thank you to Tokyo once again. Tokyo, who, along with some others in our team, picked the staff that will be working in this center on a day-to-day basis, some of whom were formerly homeless, and some of whom this is the first time they're entering into the workplace when they join the bid. And then finally, a special thanks to Linda Kaufman, Linda has the distinction of being a longtime friend of the bid, been employed by the bid twice, and there may be a third time in her future. But it's her passion and commitment when she joined her team a little over a year ago that really got this off the ground. She spent a lot of time and effort pressing the flesh and talking to potential locations for the center. And so, Linda, we really want to say thank you so much for all that you put into this, and we're pleased that you're here to witness it. And so, as I said earlier, there are a number of partners that are involved in this venture, And at this time, I'm going to welcome up to the stage Crispy Respris from Pathways to Housing.
Hi, everybody. This is so exciting. Before I start, can you please raise your hand if you are working at the center, if you're an employee of the center here? Look around, everybody, because this is who's going to be here when we all leave this party today, right? So let's thank them all. We're really excited, right? So my name is Christy Respris. I am the Executive Director at Pathways to Housing DC, and we're really thrilled to be working with all of our partners here, including the church and the BID and HIPS and all the others who have been mentioned. But I want to say this, right? Housing, employment, physical and behavioral health care, showers, laundry, benefits, legal services, income. These are just a few of the things that we're actually going to provide here, and they're really concrete in this beautiful space, right? We have really created, as others have said before me, a one-stop center to help people who are moving out of homelessness. But at the same time, we're offering some other things, right? And you've heard some of these: dignity, empowerment, inclusion, kindness, creativity, compassion, commitment, connection, and hope. These are the intangible things that are going to be offered here at the center, and I have to say they are just as critical to helping people recover and move forward. I promise the staff of this center, all those folks that you saw raise their hand, embody these traits. Every person is welcome here, every person. And some people are going to arrive ready, and they're going to jump right in and say, help me, I want to find a place to live and find employment, let's go, and we're ready for them. Some other people are going to arrive and say, I'm not quite ready yet, and I just want a safe place to be, to spend my day, to be okay. We're ready for them too. Whether they're welcomed by our peer support specialists, our facilities staff, our case managers, all of us, we are ready, so come. You know, I have been experiencing fighting homelessness for about 23 years now, and I've been working at Pathways for 18, and I have to say why? It's because housing first. We know it. We've said it. DC has embraced it. The solution to homelessness is housing, period. So we are going to take that same model of housing first, and you wonder how are we going to do that at a center? We're going to use those values here as well. Every person who says that they want housing is housing ready, so we will use that same model of housing first with all those other services I mentioned here. You know, you've heard this from everybody before. We know that we're only going to end homelessness here if we are all kind of reading from the same roadmap. And in DC, we have one. Homeward DC, it was mentioned, it's our strategic plan to end homelessness in the district. And this has been one of those gaps that needed to be filled. And there are more. But we're thrilled that this is a reality. And I have to say just a very quick point. I want to thank the Downtown BID for this because the center also offers us a chance to leverage some existing services. We heard about all the partners. It also allows us to use very strategically our street outreach programs around the city, including the one that the BID funds, to do the work of engaging our friends who are staying on the street who might not be able to or ready to wanting to come into the center yet. So we really have to do that. We've got to leverage every single resource, maximize every resource, government, business, private. So finally, I just want to say again, thank you to Mayor Bowser and to everyone here for making ending homelessness a priority in this administration and the district. You know, our celebration today is kind of fuel to the fire to end homelessness. We want to have a great time. We want to really get excited, but I have to say the work is not done, as you have heard and as you all know. So we will not stop at Pathways and at this center and all of our partners till every person who enters these doors has a home and a life filled with meaning and hope. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm going to invite our speakers to the front to cut the ribbon, and then I think I'll take some press questions. I'm going to cut the ribbon now.
Down the front, please. Down, bro. Down some more, sir.
Down some more on your knees.
How low can you go?
Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Housing first. there any questions from the press? This is not going to work. Press questions?
Start on top, Muriel. Resident of the district who lives at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue yesterday tweeted that he is planning one of the biggest gatherings in the history of Washington, D.C. Mayor, as you previously expressed when it came up, this military parade, this would incur millions of dollars worth of cost to the district if that were to happen. Have you had any communication from the White House about what this is? And do those concerns about finances that would be incurred on the district remain?
We haven't had any official communication from the White House. As you know, however, we have a huge 4th of July to celebrate America's birthday every single year, filled with fireworks. It includes a 4th of July parade, and more than that, it includes good people going to family and friends, and we have our own local parades. And we begin planning for those events many, many months in advance. So we are proceeding with those plans.
You don't know what he's talking about.
I don't specifically know. As you, there could be a range of things, and we should all be very focused on it because we have a lot of people. That's one of our biggest influxes of people that come into the city and go out of the city on that night. We have explosives, literally, to celebrate the event, and planning for that to make sure that all the participants are safe down on the mall is not something that you can wing. It has to be planned and planned well. And moving the president during that, it could be a very considerable undertaking for our MPD, which will pull them off of the already large crowds that we have, our neighborhoods. So there has to be a lot of planning around that.
So, following up on that, so do you support this idea of a salute team?
I don't know what the idea is. I certainly support celebrating July 4th in the nation's capital and putting on a big, big celebration.
Would you prefer, it sounds like would you prefer that the president not make a personal appearance and give a speech and have a rally of his own during this day and just leave it as the traditional 4th of July?
This is our issue, Mark, is making sure that we can plan in advance. The president, of course, can give a speech anytime that he likes, but I mentioned to you the very serious things that have to be considered. His movements when we already have 1 million people in town, the ability to make sure the areas around where the fireworks will be delivered, make sure that they're safe, and the pull on our own resources. Our special event, our special SOD, the Special Operations Division of MPD supports the president's movements, and they would also be dispatched to support our regular 4th of July activities and everything that's going on in our neighborhoods, which is also a high activity day, just in general. So there will be some things that we would discourage so as to keep everybody safe. Yes.
I've been reading about tiny homes in Columbia, tiny houses in states like Oregon, Texas, and certain parts of California. You can turn a $2,000 shed into a home and modernize it with one bedroom and kitchen. That's for $3,000 cheaper than the cost of rent. There are a lot of cities and states embracing the tiny home industry. I want to know what your feeling and take on that, because that's not an affordable housing option.
Sure. And I got it. There's a question about tiny houses and how tiny houses play a role in our affordable housing development. And we actually have a display tiny house up right now that we are socializing with the community, understanding the building products and methods used. Now, we're not Washington or Oregon, which we don't have vast forests. Hold on, let me finish. So there is we are really focused on how we can build 36,000 new units in the district by 2025. And you raise a good point of how do we get the cost of building affordable units down? Perhaps. So every solution, what might work in this case in Washington or Oregon may not work here. It may, but generally speaking, we're trying to go more dense, you bet, and taller. We're going to talk about that soon. Yes, Mark.
On the day center, what's your commitment? I mean, obviously you got it up and running. There was money to get this started. What's the commitment going from the D.C. government, from your office and your budget in specific, to keep this up and running and funded in the out years?
We're going to fund it. Laura will know exactly what the total costs are.
We have. So,
The first question we're going to go to.
So we fund this with a $1.7 million appropriation in DHS's annual budget, and we will continue to fund it as a critical piece of our continuum of homeless services for single adults. This is a co-ed facility. Men and women can be served here, and I think there may be an additional question.
All right, we'll take a few more. Yes?
For one-stop shopping, you need to have a birth certificate and an ID on the same day. And I'm wondering if there is a plan to have both vital records and the DMV here at the same time so that people can go from one window to another.
Yes, we have the DMV. We'll have time here, and we also have a no-fee birth certificate program, so we will be able to assist with vital records and with what is needed to obtain an ID on the same day. Yeah? Or in whatever coordination is needed, we will work that out.
If it's not on the same day, it won't be one stop.
We will make sure that we're able to have the coordination, whether it's behind the scenes or on site, so that people don't have to make multiple steps to get the vital records in order to obtain identification at no cost.
All right. Yes, sir. Then you have the last question.
So a lot of us in here are members of the Way Home campaign, and we're trying to have you put $35.5 million to provide permanent supported housing for 1,140 individuals and 144 families this fiscal year. We know that DC has a budget of $14.5 billion, and so we're hoping that we can at least have that money so we can move forward with Home with DC and meet that goal of ending chronic homelessness in the District of Columbia by 2020. And we're kind of far away from reaching that goal if we don't actually have that $35.5 million this year.
Okay, thank you. And you heard, it's been stated earlier that we are smack dab in the middle of our budget process. I will host my last budget engagement forum of the season tonight at Roosevelt Senior High School at 6:30. We've had 2 in person and 2 in a telephone town hall style where we are getting a lot of district priorities put on the table. The Way Home campaign has been well represented at all the budget engagement forums. And what we will do is we do with every budget is look at the revenues. It's real simple because we're going to have a balanced budget. We look at the revenues coming in and decide on all the things we must do, and we invest in them, and all the things that we want to do. We try to find ways to fund those as well. And we see what things have worked in the previous year and what new programs and services can we put in place that we think will work better. And so I will finish our budget in the middle of March. It goes to the council. The council has hearings, and we'll have a balanced budget by June. Thank you.